Utah, the fabulous, unbelievable Star. Otherwise known as Wonder Woman. In the best possible sense. Not like the one, from, anyway. Okay. All right, so we want to thank the Logan Library, of course.
Yay, library!
Yay! And hi, Alyssa.
Hey.
This is one of my students. Nice to see you here. So thanks to the Logan Library and Cafe Ibis, Cafe Ibis provides the coffee for this event. Utah State University is a sponsor. Obviously, the Logan Library, and welcome to Helicon West.
Yay.
And a reminder that the Helicon West anthology is available, featuring some of our featured readers over the past couple of years.
10.
10 years. And these are available from Star for $15. And there she is. All right. Thank you, Star. Okay. Well, tonight we're going to hear from 2 open mic readers first, and then we'll have our guests. And Lex will be our first featured visiting artist tonight, and Karen will follow him. And I'll just get up and introduce a little bit more about you when that time comes, if that's okay. So, our first 2 readers will be Diane Hardy, who I believe is into some performance art tonight, right? Well, this is always performance art to some extent, isn't it? And Kath?
Yeah.
Hey, Kath.
Hi.
Hi. So you'll go after Diane, and then I'll come back up and introduce our readers, our featured, our guest, esteemed guest readers. Thanks, you guys. I mean, all y'all. I've been cautioned that it's wrong to call people you guys, and I'm a kind of an old dog still trying to learn a new trick or two. So.
Thank you for hearing me first. I have to go to a viewing. A friend of mine died, and I've got to find a stake center out in Nibley, and I have no idea where that is, but I will do it. Anyway, so I'm reading out of my book, which I put out in 2012, largely because I haven't written a lot else, but I am back. I'm going to be doing it.
Yes.
All right, so this is a memoir of when I grew up, and this one I'm reading tonight is called My Neighborhood, and it's about when I was a kid and talking about my neighborhood in Roosevelt, Utah, where I grew up. We Blaines, that was my main name. We Blaines lived in the same neighborhood with the Allreds, Robertses, and Colstons. Over the years, I got as attached to them as I was to tuna fish sandwiches. They were family without the friction. We kids were within 5 years of one another, and although not friends at school or church, we were friends for neighborhood activities, night games, and things like that. In the summer of 1953, Daddy was busy making a playhouse for Sherry Kay and Connie, my little sisters, in the backyard with construction in full swing and building equipment lying around. Nancy Roberts and I found a huge bag of tar. I don't know what Daddy intended it for, but we eagerly broke off chunks to chew. It was quite a feat, chomping until the tar became pliable. We called it our chaw and pretended to be Annie Oakley as we saw who could spit the farthest. Before long, the whole neighborhood was involved, and kids could be seen coming and going from our backyard any time that Daddy wasn't on the job. Dusk was great for playing night games, like Annie I Over, when you still need to be able to see. We played it over our garage until dark, and then switched from that to hide and seek, which was my favorite. I tried to find imaginative places to hide, and if caught running first into home, you were it. So I tried to stay hidden until someone else was caught. Once I hid behind some bushes and had to pee. No one was running in, and I couldn't hold it, so in desperation I pulled my pants down and peed on the ground. I heard a giggle behind me and saw Jack Allred hiding in nearby bushes. He was a year younger than I. "Don't worry, Diane," he laughed. "Everyone has to take a leak sometimes. I won't tell on you." I thanked him, relieved. A minute later, Ned Colston was caught running in, and so then we all did. As Jack ran in, he squealed, "You're a little late for Diane Blaine. She couldn't wait. You should have seen her taking a piss over there by those bushes over there." Of course, everyone laughed, but I surprised them by laughing too, saying, "You've done it yourself." It's harder to take ridicule than give it, but I was learning. Many summer nights we kids slept out in the backyard because it was the biggest one, staying awake until early morning hours, laughing, farting, and telling ghost stories. Ned, who was 8, got scared and headed for home by 10 o'clock. His parents always left the door unlocked and the porch light on because they knew he wouldn't stay out all night. We kids laughed about his being babied, but we accepted him anyway. Finally exhausted, we quieted down and lay gazing at the stars. Bushes and trees now formed grotesque black shadows of monsters and murderers. Were they there before dark, before the stories? We hunkered down in our sleeping bags, no one willing to admit being frightened, and drifted off to sleep, the crickets and ostinato in the night.
Okay.
I like to tie what I write into music because they're really one and the same. You know that, don't you? All right. So, we'll try.
Thank you, Diane. I'm sorry you can't stay and hear our guests because they both share with you a commonality with talent for music and obviously
Really?
writing.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry this guy died. I have to go. That's the way it goes. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
See you, Diana.
Oh my gosh. How do I follow Diane? Don't play piano or sing, but I do speak in a British accent, which for some people is just as exciting. It depends how scared I was going to be, whether I was going to do 2 or 1 poem, but I'm going to do 2, and you're going to have to just sit and listen.
All right.
I got the floor. So the first one, part of my previous life was I'm a scuba diving instructor. I could do something different here in Utah, obviously, but anyway, I'm a scuba diving instructor, so this is kind of going underwater. It's called A Diver's Bond with the Ocean. An imperceptible difference of self, and yet a difference. The ocean owes us no service, but it allows us quietly to slip beneath its intangible cover, a hair's width barrier, to bring ourselves serenity from its depths. A breath, a single exhalation to exquisite peace, and an audible quietness of your soul. Freedom of thought, freedom of function, freedom of belief, freedom of self. The brilliance of your own meditation, introspection and contemplation. Your own breath is a metronome for the music of your peaceful soul. And then, this one's a little different. So it's called When is the Longest Moment? Perhaps it is when you're running for a bus just before you see the taillights pull away. Or the anxious moment on an icy cold morning before your car coughs and starts in a cloud of soot. Or when the fuel light has been glaring at you for miles and you see the last gas station on the road as a glow in the distant future, then holding your breath for your credit card to be approved when you have nothing else. Is it watching the clock for the end of your shift to remove those uncomfortable shoes from your tired feet? Then counting your tips to figure out if you made rent this month? Waiting for your takeout when all you can think of is your empty belly and the late evening hunger? Finally lying in bed waiting for sleep to arrive to let you forget your exhausted body? Is it when you are innocently waiting for the phone to ring, or wondering when he will kiss you on the lips for the first time? Or waiting for him to come through a layer of guilty lying sweat and fake moans of ecstasy because you never wanted sex in the first place? Then looking for the first glimpse of daylight after your longest night so you can find your clothes and make your escape? No, I know when the longest moment was. It was hearing her screaming in cancerous pain before they decided to give her morphine. Days hoping for someone else's prayer to be answered to ease her suffering. All of us holding hands and listening quietly for her final breath before hearing our own cries of grief escaping through conflicting guilty relief. Then stumbling outside through unbearable numbness to see a glorious golden sunrise across fields of corn we never noticed before, on the day we wished we hadn't waited for. Unrolling the morning newspaper and for a split second expecting the headline to read, "She is dead." Then realizing only you know, because only you were there for the longest moment before she left.